Today we're talking to Daniela Nastasi. Daniela works for Advanced Realty Management and she's a property manager. Today's focus will be on professional worth and salary negotiations. Daniela, thank you for speaking to Women Motivating Women.
No problem.
Now, the first question. When going in to discuss salaries, do you ever or have you ever thought of your background, like your educational background?
Well, first off, I'll just talk about myself and my experience because it's, easier to do that than act like I know the right answer all around. But for me, I don't have an extensive education background. I've always just worked off of my experience, and I think that as long as you know what your self-worth is and you can play the part or act the part, then your possibilities are endless, because at the end of the day it all comes down to your interview. Your resume essentially is going to get you through the door for the interview, so it does have to have the proper experience and some skills that are going to be useful in whatever position it is that you're applying for. But once you get in the door, it's all about selling yourself. If you can just show that person that you're speaking with that you are, if you're not fully qualified, you're a quick learner, you have what it takes, you are motivated, you're a strong personality that will get things done, and you can relay that to them. I mean, that's essentially all you really need. That's what's always worked for me. I mean, I've gotten jobs that I've had zero experience doing, and I've been told I wasn't going to get the job, but it's just made me that much more motivated to actually land that position.
So when you're talking about, let's go back to the education, because we don't want people to think they can not just have an education and go in and land these jobs. So
well,
would you...
There's some jobs, listen, I could never be a doctor. I could never be a lawyer. I could never be a graphic designer, or, there are jobs that are going to require an education. And if not, certain things like property management, real estate, recruiting, sales positions, marketing positions, there's things that you can do without specific education backgrounds. But obviously there is also jobs, you can't become a CPA if you haven't gone to school for it. But what I'm getting at is more of, having the confidence to go after whatever it is that you do want. So if you do want to be a certified public accountant, then you should go to school for that. And, but by all means, you can get a job doing, small accounting positions, and you could probably work your way up within the company. So it's about being confident, knowing what you're worth, and just relaying that confidence to whoever it is that you're speaking to, interviewing for, working with, whatever the case may be.
So would you say when talking about formal education, you took the route of informal, learning on the job, and had that confidence to show that you were willing to learn and then jump in and learn whatever needed to be learned? So while it wasn't a classroom education, you're able to pick up on things in life, basically, to get what you need to move along in your professional career.
Right. I mean, for me, having a lot of... Oh, hold on a second. Just so busy. For me, it's worked that I've had experience in a lot of different areas, and so it's helped me to be able to do the positions that I've gone after. But don't get me wrong, I do actually want to go back to school, because now there's certain things that I'm going to want to do that I'm going to need, a bachelor's degree for. So don't take anything I say to mean that you don't need a degree or you don't have to get one, because it's always good to have an education. Knowledge is power, no matter what area it's in. So, but to get started, if you have the drive and the motivation and the willpower, you can get anything you want.
And a good job.
And a good job, of course. I mean, listen, I don't have a great, I have an associate's degree, but it's not much. And I mean, I have a great job, and I'm making a decent salary to be able to live the kind of lifestyle that I like to live. So, but I am the kind of person that will always want more. So, of course, now I'm at a point where I want more. But, there's a limit to how much more I can get with the background that I have.
So now with the background, the motivation, the confidence, how do you walk into an interview, land a job, and then request a certain salary, knowing in the back of your mind that, you may not be qualified on paper?
Well, I think that you have to be able to read people. There's certain things that everybody knows. You go into an interview, firm handshake, eye contact all the time, confidence in your speaking, confidence in what you say, and nothing too flashy. Nice gray black suit is usually good enough. And if you have an idea of what you want and you feel confident that you can get the job, then by all means you should relay that to the person, and they'll always ask you certain questions, and so I always try to master the answers to those questions, because once you go on so many interviews, you start to realize that the questions are always a little similar, so being able to practice that and knowing what you're going to say is going to help you to be more confident. And when it comes down to salary, unless they ask you or they offer you a position, you shouldn't really talk salary too much, because you never know. And this is where knowing how to read people comes into play, because some companies, some people will kind of get turned off if all you want is, if all you're worried about is salary, but then there are other companies or people rather, that appreciate, that knowledge, because they want to make sure that they're not wasting their time as well. So you kind of have to gauge that on your own. And I mean, I can't teach you that. You're going to have to figure out how to read people, read situations. That's always going to be helpful in any situation in life, not just an interview. So, if you're offered the job and they offer you a salary, there's nothing wrong with negotiating your salary. So, you don't have to accept right off the bat what's being offered to you. You can always rebuttal with, what, I really want this job. I'm really looking forward to it, but I was hoping for a little more than, whatever the salary is. And 99% of the time, they will come back at you with something. They'll either say, listen, this is our budget, we can't go higher, or they might go a little higher. It's happened to me before. I've gotten more by doing that. And it doesn't hurt to do it, because it also shows your confidence, and don't forget that when you're in an interview, they're not just interviewing you, but you're interviewing them too. You want to make sure you want to work for this company. You want to make sure that the environment is the kind that you want to be in, that the salary is going to be good, that the benefits are good. And those are things you should always look into prior to the interview. You should know about that company. You should know who their competitors are. You should know what they do, what their mission statement is. I mean, you should know a lot about it, because when they ask you if you have any questions, you should start firing questions at them. And companies and interviewers, recruiters, they like that. They want to see that. So you should always go in knowing what you're doing and having a goal of what you're going to get out of that interview.
Oh. Well, Danielle, I really appreciate that you took the time to speak with us and share your knowledge. What would be 3 things that you would leave for our women who may be venturing out to a new profession, or just a profession in general, a little nervous about stepping out there?
Well, just know that, don't stress yourself, because no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. So try not to get stressed out, because that just makes things worse. Do your research, figure out what it is that you want and go after it. Don't let anything hold you back. And just have that confidence in yourself, confidence in your abilities, in your personality, and being secure in yourself, and that's going to help you with how people view you. And you want to be viewed in a positive light. You know, you don't want to look like that desperate person who doesn't know what they're doing and just is trying to get a job. You want to look like that professional who knows what she's worth and is not going to take anything less than what she deserves.
Wow. Again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. Women motivating women appreciates it. Thank you.
Thank you.